Dragon Shield sleeves are only $7.99 on flipsidegaming.com right now. And if you use the promo code CGB at checkout, you will save 10% and support the channel at the same time. So remember to use the promo code CGB. Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and today we are looking at a spicy Mardu Aristocrats build with Divine Visitation. This build comes from Sam Black on StarCityGames.com, the premium side. You pay $7.99 a month and you get a discount on all your things, and you get to read some sweet articles by some excellent players, Sam Black being one of them. I am not sponsored by Star City Games. I just believe in the product. I've been reading premium for I don't know how many years. It feels like at least a decade. And I'm a fan of the writers. I'm a fan of the content. I love having a place to get really great ideas from really great players. And then I get to share them with you. So while I won't be sharing everything that Sam wrote about the archetype, because I believe that would be stealing from Star City Games Premium, I will show you the deck list, and I will encourage you to check out Sam Black on StarCityGames.com. I've introduced some Sam Black decks on the channel before. If you're new to the channel, he is a quirky deck builder and seems to love neat build-arounds, sacrifice triggers, and all kinds of strange interactions. And this deck is no different, where we have Divine Visitation, which of course turns all your tokens into angels, and we have a number of ways to make tokens. So the idea that Sam proposed is that Divine Visitation isn't free. It's not like absolute great in the meta. So you have to be able to sacrifice things to make angels like the turn it enters the battlefield. So you need a way to immediately get your payoff. So we have a few things here. We can sacrifice our token afterlife critters to Priest of the Forgotten Gods, or we can have a Legion Warboss on the battlefield and drop a Divine Visitation and make a 4/4 hasty attacking angel. So that's really fun. We also have Judith for pumping those tokens and giving you game when you don't draw a visitation. We have Mortify for dealing with the general board, and we have 4 copies of Drill Bit. Spectacle is pretty enableable by Orzhov Enforcer, Priest of the Forgotten Gods, Judith, maybe a 1/1 token getting through, and Drill Bit lets you take the card from the hand that would interact with the visitation, allowing you to do your thing. So let's go play this deck. I haven't actually played it. This is one that I'm doing completely blind, so maybe we'll come up with some ideas to tune it and tweak it for best of 1. But I'm going to try it as is, the 60 as presented first, and we'll see how it goes. Ooh, this hand. It's slow, it's clunky, but it has double Priest, which is kind of the card. It doesn't even have red mana if we draw red cards. Wish me luck. I'm going in. I'm going in, and I may not come out. I may not make it. Oh no, not a red card off the top. Alright, let's land this Legion. Double tap land. Alright, green and white. What is going on? Thorn Lieutenant. Alright. Got critters. Another black-white land, the 3rd isolated chapel, but will they be able to kill the priest right away? Yeah, reading the priest. Priest is a beating. Looking at that Legion's landing too. Ooh, what to Conclave Tribunal? So many choices. Oh, Sprouting Renewal, destroy target enchantment, and down goes the landing. Okay. And no attacks. Conservative line. That is a good draw for the moment. Let's see. I could play another landing and sacrifice those 2. And then I'd still have 2 black in the card. And I could attack for 1, so I suppose that's the way to go. So we'll sacrifice the Summoning Sick one and the Hunted Witness. Target you, submit. You can target any number of players for some reason. Still haven't targeted myself yet. So there we go. Now you have to sacrifice a creature, I draw a card, and I get 2 black mana. There it is. And I'll use it to play the second priest. And we get that attack with our 1/1 lifelinker. Red mana would be really nice right now, as Judith is ready, Mortify is ready. As long as our board doesn't get mopped up, we may still be in this wacky game. There's Amara. Is there something to go with Amara? Maybe another Sprouting Renewal is ready. In fact, it is. Our opponent in love with Sprouting Renewal. Interesting card for the meta right now, Sprouting Renewal. Well, we drew it, but it comes in tapped. Tragedy. So, if I don't like sacrificing my cards right here, only to get rid of a token, I could kill the token, but I could also just point the Mortify at the Amara, which I think makes sense. Losing the landing hurts there quite a bit. I'm going to send my Priest. I don't think I'm going to send anything else because I'd prefer to sacrifice these for the effect at some point. But I could send both Priests. I guess so. I'll send both Priests, just to get some chip shots in. I don't think I'm going to use it this turn cycle, not as long as there's a 1/1 out there. And I'd prefer to play Judith and get those triggers. And I will kill Amara now, so that it doesn't get to untap and convoke on the opponent's turn for a Venerated Loxodon, a Sprouting Renewal, a Conclave Tribunal, another Convoke card, as it seems our opponent's on a bit of a Convoke deck. Convoke the theme deck. So, what's up, Soldier? Have you met my friend Soldier? Dawn of Hope. More soldiers. Thankfully, Mortify can target a creature or an enchantment. And Sapperling Migration, making the Priest look kind of silly if we don't find better things to discard or to sacrifice. These 1/1s are a bit of a pain. It makes me definitely want to play Judith, but then I can sacrifice my 2 1/1s to make 2 mana and Mortify and draw a card, but I don't get the trigger from that, and maybe sacrificing one of my Priests is the way to go, since activating 2 of them seems very unlikely. So let's do this. And if I attack with 1 and they double block, maybe I can set up a really silly event. All right. So let's send you into the red zone and see if the opponent wishes to double block. And maybe we can get all these tokens out of the way using Judith triggers and sacrifice from Priests of the Forgotten Gods. And no, the opponent will take the damage. Makes perfect sense. And because I don't want Dawn of Hope to get out of hand or do much of anything, we will activate you, target you, submit, sacrificing you because we need a trigger from Judith, and you because we need a second creature to sacrifice. And trigger will take out 1 of these tokens. We'll draw a card, make 2 mana. Now they're down to 1 token. There's Visitation, and we'll take out the Dawn of Hope with the Mortify with that extra mana. But we don't have a way to make tokens. So, curious to see if this Visitation is going to work out here. At least we finally have a land to let our other lands enter the battlefield untapped. There's Sarah's Wings. Well, okay. That's not very good in the face of the Priest, but at the same time, do I want to sacrifice my board this way? I don't think I do. I definitely want the Visitation. Let's try attacking with the 2/1. I don't want to trade away my Judith or my Priest. And if the opponent doesn't block here, we get the 2 life. Then we can sacrifice, if we want to, is it sacrifice 2 other creatures? So we can sacrifice Judith and the token to get rid of that if we decide it's necessary. Drill bit at the wrong time. Our opponent doesn't have a hand. Let's see what the opponent goes for. They have a Resplendent Angel. Well, we do have to get rid of that. Sacrificing this creature does 1 damage here. That's not good enough. We could do this now. Ugh. I think I take my draw step, and I hope to draw any other creature. If I draw any other creature here, we're in good shape. Okay, we drew a creature. So the idea here is now that we sacrifice those. Target here. Submit. Sacrifice these two to get 2 triggers from the Judith, because if we sacrifice this, it's non-token creature. So we have to keep this one. And so now 2 Judith triggers go off. Target here and target here to take that creature out. Then the priest sacrifice trigger goes off, taking out Resplendent Angel, drawing a card. 2 mana to the mana pool. Here's an afterlife creature, which can make an angel next turn. A drill bit that we can't use right now, but I will hang on to. You never know when Settle the Wreckage might rear its ugly head. I didn't mean it, Settle. You're beautiful. Never change. 3 night tokens from Assemble. Oh my goodness. There they are. All right. Well, we have Legion's Landing. That means we get to start making angels, friends. So I could flip the Legion's Landing and make an angel factory. To do that, I'd have to attack with my priest. And I love my priest. I don't want to attack with my priest. Instead, because it makes mana on our turn, I'll use it now to get one of these things gone. Just keep picking away, but it will make another angel. Down to 8. Triggering Spectacle. Sacrifice one of your knights, please. Draw a card. It's another Visitation. I suppose I'll play it. Can't hurt to be redundant out here in case of an Ixalan's Binding. And the angel's threatening that lethal attack next turn. Let's see if I get away with it. I think I'll even attack with the priest. Well, what did I say? Settle the Wreckage, right? Let's see that hand. Okay, it's just a land. So no reason to flip the landing here. The game is over. Alright, we're starting out here with an Enforcer, a Mortify, a Boss, a Priest, and 3 lands in appropriate colors. It's a very good hand, I think. On the draw, you don't want to get run over. The opponent is very excited to have turn 1 Llanowar Elves. Just absolutely thrilled about it. And that can be a problem. If they get on the board too fast, Priest of the Forgotten Gods will be too slow. Too slow. So what do we got? Is it big? Is it a monster? Is it a giant creature? It's an attack with the Llanowar Elves, so... Oh boy. Wild Growth Walker. How spectacular. Let's, Ooh. Do I want my Death Toucher out there now in case our opponent goes for Jade Light Ranger, or do I want my Priest off Summoning Sickness? I can't really use the Priest next turn anyway, unless, like, Warboss comes down, makes a token, and I'm willing to sacrifice both of them, which is pretty bad. So, I'm going to lead with the Enforcer. Let's show him the Death Touch. What now, Green Machine? Path of Discovery. Neat combo. I think I'm going to have to kill that. It just gets 2 out of hand. I guess I can wait till there's an Explore creature on the stack. Yeah, let my opponent make their play for the turn. Just wait till there's any creature on the stack. And Biogenic Ooze. Oh no. Now what do I have to do? I think I have to kill the Ooze. I think I have to let my opponent explore all they want and have all the life they want. Well, this game is going exactly as the opponent hoped it would. Couldn't draw it up better, Green Machine. Another big creature. Oh no. What a beating. Okay, well, we only have 1 black mana, which is a huge shame here. I do think getting a priest going and getting some sacrificing going is our only real shot. If we had double black here, that would have been huge, but we don't. Next turn we'll have a lot of black, though. Okay, the opponent has Beast Whisperer. Dear God. Just dear God. What a dreamy draw. Just the best you could ever hope for. They shouldn't let any creatures go in this spot. Every creature they let go gets them closer to sacrificing something they don't want to. So I don't like this play. I think it's the opportunity we kind of need. Alright, we draw a Hunted Witness. So we'll definitely pay a white and put that onto the battlefield. I could play the Warboss, but I think it's important to get the Priest going. And if I sacrifice the token like in combat, I can't play the Priest at that point because it's within combat. So let's hit him up. Also because we can draw some cards that might help. But let's cycle some dorks and make our opponent get rid of some things. And then we get all this black mana. Okay. We go with a red. I guess I have to go full control here to make sure these tap correctly. And I want to use the red and the black and resolve. So I still have 3 mana. Do I play the third priest? I guess so. Well, no, the Enforcer holds the opponent back, so let's play the Enforcer as well. What a brawl we have here. The opponent reading that Priest of the Forgotten Gods. And they have a Merfolk Branchwalker, dear God. Okay. They'll have plenty of things to sacrifice. Getting through all this is going to be nothing short of a miracle. If we flood at any point, it's just a disaster. And they're hitting land, which, okay. But that means they get to play even more creatures. And that's a creature I can't really block in Steel Leaf Champion. They're up to 36 freaking life. So, I think I play the Warboss, and I pitch 2 tokens. I definitely want 2 activations, so there's 1. And then this is 1, 2 as well. I don't really want to get rid of one of my priests, but I don't think I'll have enough creatures to use all of them. So definitely, like, the easy one is to get rid of the Warboss token. We can't use the black mana in combat, but post-combat we can play, say, another Enforcer. So, here we go. Move to combat, make a dork. Use a priest, send it upstairs. We'll send both of you. Draw Mortify. Okay, that's a thing. Where do we point it? Where do we point it? I have a feeling that the best place to point it is at the Beast Whisperer and cut off the card advantage. Path of Discovery is really good too. But I think that's where we point it for now. Alright, next to attackers, no attacks. Alright, I don't think I pay 2 life here. I think I sacrifice you and you to play another you. Deck takes a minute to pilot, as you can see. So, sacrifice something else. Right now, the Steel Leaf Champion gets through, the Walker does not, but the Walker's bigger and gains a bajillion life, so the Walker lives. We draw a 4th Priest. I guess I still want the ability to do 2 activations next turn, even if it means I take a hit from the Walker. I think. Yeah, I think that's worth the risk, as much as it sucks. I think I gotta do it. Take a big hit from a big Walker. Another ooze. No! No, not this. Seeing a clash of the titans here, folks. When you talk about going over the top of the mid-range decks, this is not gonna do it. Alrighty then. We're gonna need good draws. In combat or before combat? I guess I'll do the first one at least before combat. See what happens. Ouch. Land, not what I had in mind. I don't want to sacrifice this Enforcer. I have too many priests. So this is something I can definitely sacrifice if I wanted to, but I'm going to get this on the battlefield first. We're going to make a token. Gonna hit him again. What are you giving up? What are you giving up? Tough choices. Walk her down. Oh, more land. Not good. All right, third priest. I think I need a Judith or something absurd like that. This ooze, though, can just make a million oozes. Can we get to that ooze on this turn? They can't really attack because of the Enforcer. Is there another creature we have to go through? This is 1, 2, 3, 4. So they need 3 creatures. Oh, they didn't get there. All right. So first things first, let's go to combat, make the token, and sacrifice that with the Enforcer. Submit. There goes one ooze. There's another drill bit, so we get to attack this hand, although I suspect it only has land. Like, this is a sorcery, so I can't play it now anyway. No attacks. All right, who's going away? One of the priests and the token, I think. I guess I could have had an attack in with the Warboss here if I had done this in combat. There, that's gone. Oh, more land. Really? All right, spectacle. Yeah, did it. I think that's a nice worthy moment. And that turn. Holy crap. Well, our opponent found their lands. Here comes the Steel Leaf Champion. Another Beast Whisperer on top. No. But with Warboss, we just need to draw some creatures. If we flood too much, though, I say it and it happens, I swear to God. All right, submit, and we need to sacrifice you and you. Down to one priest. So we still need to draw creatures, and there's another Warboss, and that could be everything we need. I think I'll just play it now. Save mana for next turn, although I don't know what I could possibly need all the mana for. But now we have kind of the lock. Every turn we get the priest, the opponent holding back. Okay, that's going to pile up damage very quickly, and we have another drill bit, so they're going to regret that. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess we can hold you back, but there's not a lot of point to it. Might as well get all that damage. And have we completely turned the tide using basically Priest of the Forsaken Gods all by itself? Another drill bit, another tide taker. I'll play out my lands. You never know when we might go on some chain and use all of them, although it doesn't seem likely with the deck. More ooze. The ooze is endless. God, that's perfect too, right? Because they get 2 triggers and another Beast Whisper. We need to draw a way to kill this ooze. Oh my God, the perfect top deck. And they didn't even dig for it. They just got it. They just got it like a boss. Oh my Lord. All right, hit him up. Get rid of those. We need that flyer, I think. The opponent doesn't have 1,000,000 life anymore. We can try to drain him out. We are at 8, by the way. That's not a lot. And we are flooding. All right, these must attack, which means I may as well attack with these and get 2 damage through. Or should I? Maybe holding them back does have value. If I was going to do this, though, I should have... So I can get 8 damage through. This is 9, 10, 11 next turn. Our opponent's at 15. They're going to make a bajillion Uzis. I don't know how I get there. I don't know how I get there, team. Because if I throw away these creatures, like, the tide turns so quickly. So I think I have to do it like this, and it's really bad. It's really bad. The tide is going to turn quickly no matter what. Opponent actually takes a damage there. Too scared of risking their biogenic ooze. All right, ooze on ooze, I'm sure. Behold, keeping Pelt Collector, sure. Such fun. Are there attacks? No. Just pump the team and prepare for Mortal Kombat. And our draw has absolutely turned on us. So you two must attack. You may as well attack. All right, Priest. Head upstairs. Kill off 1 frickin' ooze. 1 weak little ooze point. Draw a drill bit. Well, that's something against the Beast Whisperer. But we need enough of these drill bits. We need to kill this ooze. We're halfway through our deck. No Divine Visitation. And a reminder against this wall of biogenic ooze, 8 life is not very much. It really isn't. And the opponent can make 3 blockers. And that's probably what they're trying to figure out, is if they can turn the corner here. I'll block this one. It doesn't have trample, right? Right. Give me that 1 life. Or pelts? Why do you keep the Pelt Collector at this stage? It's like the worst top deck. Oh well. Yeah, they'll do what they want to do. I would not keep a Pelt Collector. They just wanted the oozes bigger, I guess. Okay. Is that lethal? Let's find out. 1, 2, 3. That's 9. Priest of the Forgotten Gods, lethal. Unbelievable! Draw of the day. I gotta keep this one. That's a game. And I'll throw them a good game. And they reciprocate. Handshake of friendship, respect. Divine Visitation for the win. I think this hand has everything we could want except some check lands. It's a painful mana base, but I'm rolling with it. I am rolling with it. Pay that 2 life, get that Legions landed. So we can turn 2 Priest, then turn 3 we can Tithe Taker, sacrifice 2 things and play Judith, or play Judith and sacrifice that to the Priest. So let's get Priest onto the battlefield and just have it ready. If this is that mono blue deck, how do they beat this card? It's such a beating. But it's not. It's some kind of a blue-green merfolk thing. Well, that's going to be pretty good too. Check land. I could play this, sacrifice them, make the opponent sacrifice, get a 1/1, then play this. I think that's the best use of mana. Not only that, I don't want the elite to stick. Before then, I will attack with the token because I'm sure the opponent won't block and I may as well get the damage in. See, I need black, black, red, so this will do for mana tapping. Hiya, hiya, hiya. Make you sacrifice Deep-Root Elite. And put out Judith the Scourge Diva. Now, when you play a second Judith, we don't get the chance to sacrifice 1 on the stack or something, but it does create 2 triggers, which could kill some merfolk. Because Judith dies, which is a trigger, and Judith dies to Judith, which is a trigger. And the opponent says go in what may be a quick and anticlimactic battle. I suppose I'll try to flip my landing. There could be a merfolk trickster. Yeah. Let's see what you want to do. Targets the Judith, so it can block and kill the priest, I'm guessing? No. Fear of the Judith. Okay. So I could make a 1/1, or I could play priest and Judith, which I think just getting these 2 back on the battlefield ahead of... I don't know if they play counter magic, but I think just getting both of them back out there would be exceptionally tilting for an opponent who just used a trickster to kill one. And here's Cumena, Sag Cumena. There's Visitation. Part of me wants to take that Cumena out, but I don't know if it's that important. Not when we can start making angels. So let's get in there. Can't believe I'm letting Cumena hang out, but we can always respond if something scary lands on the battlefield. We can respond with a priest activation. And remember, every time we sacrifice a non-token creature, we can deal 1 damage to a target. So dealing 2 damage to this is totally possible. All right, nothing. All right, my turn. Mortify. Brutal. Our opponent could, of course, have... They could have a dive down, which would mess things up a little bit. Let's attack first with the flyer. Then I'm going to try my priest trick, see if it works. Ping, ping. There's the dive down. So here is I guess we can see what our opponent saves now, because they're going to sacrifice one or the other, and we can mortify what's left. So let's let that go through. Because they still have to make a choice. All right, we draw the isolated chapel. Now we can go mortify your Cumena. And we have Visitation able to make 4/4s. Cumena returns. The return of the Tyrant of Razka. Another Judith. All the Judith today. Red, black, red. Let's launch the Scourgy Diva. And this is 7 in the air. So that will do. And then Priest of the Forgotten Gods can finish the job. And game over. This hand has both mana colors. If we draw a third land, it's great. So let's draw that third land. And leading it off with Hunted Witness. Maybe we get a chip shot in or two. And we drew the land. Now, do we want the Tithe Taker? I don't think the opponent will want to trade with the Witness, so I'll throw that attack over there. I also don't think the opponent's going to play much on my turn, so the Enforcer holding back the 1/1 makes more sense to me than the Tithe Taker. Spirant. It's another 1 toughness creature, and they don't have another play. So, with those 1 toughness creatures, I want to get my Warboss down. And you can go in, you can go in. Opponent's thinking some blocks. Interesting. And they do let go of a creature. The Judith next turn can definitely put them in a tough position. Boros Challenger. Uh-oh. Well, play is still Judith, but the Challenger can block pretty well. Do I throw you in there? I think I do. At this point, we're pushing damage, so let's push it. One damage, go face, and we also get another afterlife token. So the way my opponent's trading off makes very little sense to me. It almost implies like they have a sweeper. Like they might run Deafening Clarion. The fact that they got rid of my afterlife creatures. But then they're just an all-creature deck, so it doesn't make sense. I don't know. I don't know. So here comes another Warboss, and this draw is a beating in every way. So these are definitely going. I think we're at a point where the Warbosses get busy too. And Judith, I think you might even want to get busy, considering the amount of damage this offers. So if the opponent blocks here, here, and here, just for example, they take 1, 2, 3 because of Mentor, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and this would be 12. And none of those have lifelink, so. Everybody in? All right, there's the blocks. And that's down to 0. And that's where the deck can run you over. We can't play the Hunted Witness on turn 1, but we do have a turn 2 Priest, and if we draw a land, we can go, a white land specifically, we can go Witness and Tithe Taker to activate the Priest, and Drill Bit that turn. Seems pretty good. I'll give it a try. And, well, We fought off mono red as long as we possibly could. But then eventually it shows up, doesn't it? Well then. Message sent. So whether or not to put out a priest here, I feel the Tithe Taker is probably the best thing to try to prevent some damage, and that the priest will die. It may have to eat a bolt later, but so be it. Here's a shock. And I could block it to prevent 2 damage, but I don't think that's a very good use of the card. Alright. So now I'll play the Hunted Witness, and hopefully tag team they can prevent future damage from the Lava Runner. I could drill bit my opponent. You know, that's not the worst. That's not the worst. Unless they have 2 bolts left. Ooh, 2 mountains left. You're telling me there's a chance. Well, I will make my 1/1 with lifelink. And then we'll play a Judith and pump our lifelinker. Yeah, that seems really good to me. Really good to me. The opponent likes this. They think this is nice. And now they're on defense, so they haven't drawn too well. What to do? I think getting the priest and the Tithe Taker down makes a lot of sense. I think that an attack here would be a little foolish. The opponent killing the Judith in response, for example, means it gets to... Well, no, it doesn't, because I can... When Judith dies, I can target the Lava Runner, so an attack here still makes sense. Let's go. Let's get in there. And if they trade with Judith, I still get to do some damage to them. I get their threat off the board. Now we can play Tithe Taker and Priest of the Forgotten Gods. So the way that our opponent flooded makes me wonder about that turn 2 play when they threw basically their whole hand at our face. As you see, it didn't really get there. I find those plays a bit too aggressive, even if it does mean you miss out on a point of damage from your Lava Runner. Just my take on the situation. If they had 2 more bolts in their hand, I would get it, but they didn't. They had 2 more lands. Perhaps counting on the top of your deck is a necessary evil sometimes, but I think a little patience might have played a big role there. And the opponent says good game and scoops. I assume they just drew a bunch of land, and what I said didn't really matter. This hand is on the draw. We have our tap lands with all our colors, but they go tap land into tap land, so it could be a very slow hand. Still, I think you have to keep hands like this for best of 1. Best of 3, I think mulliganing makes more sense, but in best of 1, you just end up mulliganing out of the game so quickly. And giving up even a few card advantage to the opponent can really punish you. So I try to avoid mulliganing any like iffy hand in best of 1 unless I am a mono-colored aggro deck, because you can still mulligan into really good curves and just roll people with those pretty easily. So our opponent opened on Hollow Fountain, and now they are in the tank here on turn 2. What is going on? And after a nice long pause, we get a Watery Grave. I'll make a Legion's Landing. Okay, looks like counter magic, which makes Tithe Taker pretty bad. Probably go for an Orzhov Enforcer if that's what's going to get countered. It's not very good against control anyway. Huh. Should I counter this 1/1 Death Touch Afterlife card? And eventually they decide to. Fourth land. Okay. So for my next trick, I will try this Hunted Witness. All right. How about this Tithe Taker? I could go for the Warboss, but if the opponent is holding another counterspell, that will eat a counter for sure. If it resolves, that's really great. Also, the Tithe Taker takes the opponent off Settle the Wreckage, but I'd want them to settle like one token. Maybe I am supposed to go for the Warboss and just make them have 2 counterspells in their opener. Because this is the turn where they want normally to Chemist's Insight, and there it is. Alright. And now we make them have Kaya's Wrath on time. Eldest Reborn. Well, I could give up the Hunted Witness because it puts a body right back on the field. Or I could save that in case of a sweeper. But if my opponent had a sweeper, they would have played it. So I will get rid of the Witness. So I can still put the damage output on the field next turn. We have a Mortify. Mortify will gladly take care of this. This is why I don't like Eldest Reborn too much in the control decks right now. Mid-range decks maybe, and control decks fine. You have to really be good at sweeping the board though, because if you're just getting a Hunted Witness with that Eldest Reborn, that is not a good look. Alright, so do I play the I play one Afterlife creature, but I'm not sure which one it should be. I guess the Tithe Taker is the most annoying. Well, and then we Mortify away the Eldest Reborn because I don't want to discard. But Tithe Taker is also what they will want to sweep up the most. Still, getting it out there seems good. They didn't have the sweeper last turn, and I think they would have played it for certain. There's almost no way you play an Eldest Reborn there if you have a sweeper, so we're going to make them find it. Revitalize will gain 3, draw a card. The mana is right for a Kaya's Wrath if you top decked it, but no. And we don't have to play around Settle. Tithe Taker keeps Settle the Wreckage from happening, so we're going to hit them as hard as we can. Pump up the other lifelinker. They can't even flash back their Chemist's Insight because of Tithe Taker. It's such a beating. Maybe they're trying to cast it right now. I'll keep hovering, make sure that they read this. It makes spells and abilities on the opponent's turn cost 1 more. I'm going to go ahead and cast out the Orzhov Enforcer because of the Afterlife. I'll play out the tap land. We may as well have everything on the battlefield. There might be, I don't know, Thought Erasure, Bellhaunt, some discard effect. And we'll make a Dork with a Danto as well. So even if the opponent finds their sweeper here, we'll be able to put them, we'll have 3 attackers coming the very next turn. So, big turn. There is Chemist's Insight. There's 2 cards. And there is the scoop. The hand is alright. We've got the Enforcer and the Tithe Taker, the Drill Bit. Maybe we'll get to that Divine Visitation if we draw our land. So let's give it a try. Ring those church bells. It's the godless shrine. Shrine without a god. Profound. Never really thought about it. Just always thought it made a black and a white. The red deck returns. Just can't keep a red deck down for very long, right? So, do we take the tithes or do we enforce? I think I'll go for the enforcer, just because it can trade with anything short of a chain whirler. And it doesn't set us up for getting chain whirled. So, though if the opponent attacks, I'm blocking. I'll be blocking. Runaway Steamkin. Okay. That's getting mortified. I can tell you right now. That's getting mortified. But I'll kick it over first. Another Visitation is not the card we wanted to see. That is not good. That is not good. Chains have been whirled. Well, now I've got to make a choice. The chain whirler is a tough block. Nobody wants none. The Steamkin's this endless mana battery, but the chain whirler, ugh. Tough choice. I really want to go Tithe Taker Drill Bit next turn. If I take out the Chain Whirler, I can do that. But I might regret this a lot. Might have a lot of regrets on this. Alright. Well, we'll see if the opponent's willing to block here. They don't have a good block. Remember, it would kill the Lava Runner. So there it is. Let's get in their hand. There is an Experimental Frenzy and a Light Up the Stage. I have to take the Frenzy. But these are really good cards as well. And let's play another Enforcer, so if the opponent wants Spectacle, they have to go through a Death Toucher. They drew the Lightning Strike. Pretty good. Pretty good. Red deck busto. Red deck so busto. This is obscene. This is obscene. And this is through hand disruption. I did what I could to the hand. It could have been so much worse. It could have been so much worse. I think I have to prevent 4 damage here, and also just to keep my opponent from activating the Steamkin again and playing these so that they at least have to play them next turn. Oh my god. Stupid red deck. Our hand is good. Priest. Some crazy critters. Let's go. Looks like we have to play mono white. And on the draw, that's not good. But at least we have a nice curve to combat them with. And if the priest goes unchecked, it might be able to make a big difference. So we will see. And no second play. That is fortunate. Let's get the priest on the board. Make them deal with it right away if they can. And then next turn, Warboss just really kicks it into high gear, doesn't it? There's Benelish Marshal. All right. And no blocks here. History of Benalia would have been a bit scarier. Oh, that draw. If I play Judith, I can clean the board. But it could be so much more powerful over time that I think I will save it. Oh, but that's so good, though. I could play her and just... I would have the sacrifice at instant speed if I want it, but I don't have to. So I'll put it out there. We'll put it out there, but if I get to untap with this board, it's going to be so devastating. But right now, if we need to, we can sacrifice Hunted Witness and Judith, deal 2 damage to the bodyguard, make the opponent sacrifice the marshal. But let's see what they do. If they go for a Venerated Loxodon, I'll probably do this in response. A Legion's Landing gives them something else to sacrifice. But if I wait till next turn and I play, say, Orzhov Enforcer, sacrifice 2, I can deal 2 damage to this or the landing. Then they sacrifice a thing. Seems really good. And they can't really try to exchange with me in combat because then they don't have sacrificial fodder. Okay, they are going for Loxodon then. So I'll do this... I think I do make this play before the Loxodon resolves and pumps the creatures, because then the play's not good anymore. So 2 to you. Get that off the battlefield. We'll still have 3 creatures next turn, so we can go Orzhov Enforcer, sacrifice Priest into Legion Warboss if we like. Although, of course, that runs into the Elephant, which isn't good. We can also go Warboss, sacrifice the 2 tokens, make the opponent lose something. So they keep a Marshal. Ooh, we got another Judith. Yeah, if that play was going to happen anyway, I should have made it on my turn. I think I like the idea of getting a Warboss out using the token. The problem with that is the token comes in combat, so we wouldn't be able to use the mana to play a Judith then. So it's probably better to play the Enforcers. But what about the 2 mana? Yeah, I think I acted too fast already. Let's see what happens here. If they give up the Loxodon, we get to keep the token from the Warboss. They do. Okay, good. We even drew a way to use the mana. Going to play this. Shock for this. Play you. Makes the token. Get in there. And the priest just becomes like a drain you for a creature and some life and draw extra cards every turn. Which is so nuts. Yeah, that better be a Conclave Tribunal. If you had that before and didn't use it on the priest, that was a fail. A fail, my friend. There's a 4/4 Ben Alish Marshal hanging out. I think that the play now is to drop Judy and just push this damage. So everybody can attack because Legion Warboss would trade up with the Marshal thanks to Judith's ability. So blocking the Warboss isn't a good option. And the opponent sees that they don't like any options, and they scoop it up. All right, let's lock those prizes down. 7 wins, 1 loss to Red, which I think I'm going to cut because it wasn't much of a game. Red just god drew like multiple Steamkins, Frenzy, even through a drill bit. But we got the job done. I hope you enjoyed this video. I very much enjoyed playing the Sam Black Divine Visitation Mardu Aristocrats deck. A lot of fun. The card of the deck for me, for sure, is Priest of the Forgotten Gods. A really exciting card to play with. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye. Mana necklaces have arrived at hauntedflower.com. These necklaces are a great way to show your favorite MTG colors. Remember to use the promo code CGB at checkout to save 10%. That is promo code CGB on hauntedflower.com.